We good? Yeah. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order now. Rachel, please call the roll.
Ms. Bonnie?
Here.
Mr. Fuller?
Here.
Mr. Patel? Mr. Lee?
Here.
Mr. Monmouth?
Here.
Mr. Mayo?
Here.
Mr. Sepulveda?
Here.
Mrs. Snow? Mr. Wagner? Mr. Royal?
Here.
And Mr.
Okay, can you please stand? Salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster and filed in the office of the Township Clerk on July 12, 2017. Emergency notice, there's an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and the two exits at the rear of the room. There's just no smoking policy. No new cases will be started after 11 p.m. No new testimony will be taken after 11:30. In addition, the applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. All meetings will be video and audio taped as shown on the Township of Ocean's community cable channel, channel 22 on Verizon, Fios, and channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell telephones must be turned off, or if you need to make a call, please call outside the meeting room. Before I continue, I want to read something. It's a resolution. Whereas Nolan Russell was appointed to the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment on February 23rd, 2017 as an alternate 3, and whereas Nolan Russell was appointed as an alternate 2 on July 1st, 2017, and whereas Nolan Russell had consistently performed his duties in an exemplary manner to the Board of Adjustment of the Township of Ocean, whereas Nolan Russell resigned his position as alternate member on August 8th, 2017 due to acceptance of a new position out of state. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment hereby recognizes the contributions made by Nolan Russell to the citizens of the Township of Ocean and the Board of Adjustment and wishes him the best in his new endeavor. Be it therefore resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the members of the Township Council and the Township Clerk. And be it further resolved that the resolution be herewith is adopted on November 2nd, 2017. The foregone resolution was offered by, I'll offer it, can I have a second?
I'll second.
And adopted by a roll call of the following.
Ms. Bonnie?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Monmouth?
Yes.
Mr. Mayo?
Yes.
Mr. Sepulveda?
Yes.
And Mr. Royal?
Yes.
The foregoing is a true copy of the resolution adopted by the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment, second day of November 2017. I thought he was the future and he left us. Okay. Cases carried to December 21st, 2017. Morris Dweck, Block 43, Lots 1 and 2, 300 Parker Avenue, Deal Park. Brenda Cabasso, Block 58, Lot 10, 449 Crosby Avenue, Deal. Dennis Randall, Gerald Miller, Block 131, Lot 11, 2001 South Wanamassa Drive, Wanamassa. Joseph and Teresa Saladjanian, Block 111, Lots 4, 16.02, 1308 Wickapecka Drive, Ocean. Eric Rubin, Block 8.01, Lots 24, 6 Tulip Court, Oakhurst. Also, cases carried. Case number 2, Maurice and Aline Benjamin, Block 22, Lot 38, 250 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst, Zone R4 is carried to December 21st. And Gregory Vargo, Block 126, Lot 3, 1318 Edgewood Avenue, Ocean, R6 is carried to December 21st. And cases carried to January 18th, 2017, Lakeside Adult Medical Daycare Center, LLC, Block 140, Lot 81, 1001 Wickapecka Drive, Wanamassa, carried to January 18th. Resolutions. We have resolutions?
Minutes first. Minutes.
Minutes first?
Isn't that over?
Minutes for approval of the September 7th, 2017 regular meeting.
I make a motion
I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Oh,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Malta?
Yes.
And Mr. Riddell?
Yes.
okay, resolution and memorialization, John and Valerie Cooey, I guess? Yes? Cooey? Block 3, Lot 60, 39 Peachtree Road, Oakhurst, bulk variance approval. Edward Adis, Block 22, Lot 29, 268 Roosevelt Avenue, Oakhurst, bulk variance approval. They're posted on the wall over there. I would like to be able to offer them together if I could,
Yeah, you can.
okay?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, wait a minute, you're not, oh, yeah, you can.
I need a second.
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Ms. Bonnie?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Malta?
Yes.
Mr. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Riddell?
Yes.
And Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Okay, that brings us to our first case. It's a continued case, ACH PSE LLC, Block 22, Lot 1, 207 Monmouth Road, Oakhurst, Zone C1. This is an application for preliminary and final site plan with DNC variances. Mr.
Wait,
Brodsky?
When was this on before?
The first hearing was January
19.
19th. and you
Any-
have to mark it.
Anything between them? No, that's what, I see the 19th, okay.
Thank you.
And I just want to put on the record that board members, Mr. Stefan, and Mr. Snell are both in the state that are eligible.
Mr. Kirk, do you have to mark in, the packet's already marked in, correct?
I have a new packet.
New
Yeah.
packet?
Yeah.
Can we mark that packet in?
It'll be B2.
Okay. Bill, do you have a report?
Yes. Try Jim first, I think.
Jim first?
Right?
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll summarize, I think that'll make it a little bit quicker. The applicant is proposing, has actually changed the use of the property from a gasoline station with automotive service to just automotive service. Originally, they planned to just have a D variance application. Now that, to bifurcate, just has D variance application. Now they've submitted site plan as well as the variance application. The lots on the corner of Monmouth Road, Roosevelt Avenue. As I said, they did change the use from a gasoline service station to just a auto repair facility. Technically, as far as the ordinance goes, the ordinance doesn't recognize the difference between the two, so it's the same use as per the ordinance. One of the things in my prior report, and they did address at the last hearing, is the differences between the prior operation and the current operation. And I think it's important for the board to understand. It used to be open 7 days a week, now they're closed on Sundays. They used to close at 11 p.m. at night, now they close at 5 p.m. on most of the days, and I think it's a little bit earlier on Saturdays. The traffic volumes of the day were 250 to 300 cars per day when it was a combined gas and repairs. Now the testimony was they have 15 to 20 cars on the lot during the day and 8 to 12 on the lot during the night in the off-season, and approximately double that amount in the on-season. Bill and I met with them, I think they addressed a lot of the concerns that we had. I know he still has some concerns that he will bring up to the board. As far as variances, they need a variance for parking setback from a street where the ordinance requires the spaces be, any space backing into an entrance or exit drive be 25 feet from the curb line, the street line. And in this case, there are a number of parking spaces that back up into the entrance or exit drive that are not within the 25 feet. I think we need testimony as to the safety of that condition. It doesn't seem to be a problem, but I'd rather hear them testify to that. Parking space width, spaces are supposed to be 10 feet wide, they're 9 feet wide. Again, it's very low intensity use. A lot of the spaces are just going to be used for storage of vehicles that are waiting repairs or have been repaired. The one concern I did have is that there's no ADA space that I can see on the plan, one should be provided. Parking in a front yard, the ordinance, front yard only if they meet the 25-foot landscaping in the front yard and the 10-foot on the side yard. In this case, they don't need it in the front yard, and there's one small area on the side yard where they don't need it. Again, they're going to lose 11 spaces if that's strictly complied with, and given the nature of the site, it probably makes sense to grant that variance. Number and location of curb cuts, the ordinance limits the number of curb cuts to one, says it has to be on the street of higher classification, and in the center 1/3 of the lot. They have 2 curb cuts, one on each street, and the one on Roosevelt Avenue is in the western 1/3 of the lot. So that variance is necessary. I don't think there's any reasonable way to avoid it. Minimum landscaped area in the front yard, 30% is required. It's clearly on Monmouth Road, they don't have the 30%. They actually are reducing it by 96 square feet because of the trash area that they're putting in that isn't there now. I don't see that as a problem. They're providing additional landscaping material in that area. Minimum landscaped area along property lines. Clearly, they can't meet that on either of the street property lines. In some areas, they're 0%. I think Bill has some suggestions as for ways to mitigate the street frontage situation. And again, they're required to have 10 feet along the side property line. The south side, because of the trash area, they have 7 feet. So technically, that's a variance, but at the same time, the ordinance permits the trash area to be within 5 feet of the property line, so there's sort of a conflict in the ordinance there. So I don't have a major problem with that. And the buffer, technically, because the C2 zone requirements are required for this, the way the ordinance is structured, even though it's a C1 zone, they're required to have a 50-foot buffer. The buffer is 8.4 feet to the residential properties, so I'm wondering where that came from. I think there's a wider buffer than that. And
58.
what? It's 58 feet from the wall, okay, to the residential properties. So they had 58 feet, but they don't have a lot of plantings in those areas, so that might be something you want to look at. The only other comments I had were that the landscape plan, they say they're going to replace some of the landscape in the corner, reduce the height and meet the site triangle requirements, but they don't say which plants are going to be removed. So my thinking was, first of all, that should be subject to approval before it's done, probably my approval before it's done. And second, that once it's done, an as-built should be submitted so that for future enforcement purposes. And that 10 of the parking spaces are tandem, which means 5 of those spaces are blocked in. I think they should be designated for storage, for repair vehicles being repaired. Other than that.
Say that again, there's a couple of tandems,
Yeah, there's
but if somebody,
total of 10 parking spaces that are tandem.
okay,
And the front ones of those tandem are no problem. But
Right.
the ones that are blocked in, clearly, they should be just for vehicles that are being serviced. So
Okay.
that they're not, customers don't get blocked in, or employees don't get blocked in.
okay,
Primarily customers, the employees, they can move the cars
Right.
around. But
right. Mr. Fitzgerald.
I have a report dated October 30th, Mr. Chairman. I also will summarize, and I won't try not to double up on any of the points that Jim hit. My main focus on this was the fact that this is an older neighborhood of town, of which there are sort of 3 like this: the West Park Avenue, Monmouth Road, Roosevelt, Monmouth Road, and Colonial Terrace. And they're kind of older, and the developments have been there a long time, and some things are a little tired. And maybe what we were trying to do was come up with a little scheme of improvements so that when they take place over time, makes for a uniform appearance throughout the neighborhood. To a large degree, the applicant has agreed to do some things we recommended, so we're really happy about that. We got a couple more, we're good to go. Anyway, to get to the point, okay. One of the big problems I had was the under-soffit lighting. There's a row of fluorescent light bulbs that are visible from everywhere, all on the front of the building. So all we asked you to do is just drop the soffit down with a 1x4 or 1x6 to kind of hide them. We're not saying get rid of all the lights. I'm saying make it so that they're not visible from the street. It doesn't conform with the ordinance. I'm not sure why we can't get agreement, or maybe we can. With regard to improvements in general, I had offered in my last review kind of a staging plan over about 8 years, and for the most part the applicant has agreed with that. What I wanted to do in 4G is make sure that we're clear when it starts. It's not from, it's when, from I'm recommending the board can do it at once. I don't mean it, but I'm recommending that it be 8 years or 6 months or whatever the time frames are from the date of the board's vote to approve the application. It's up for whatever you guys decide. I just wanted to have some starting point.
Yep.
Okay. In 6B, I had recommended that the board withhold the D variance vote until the applicant made an application to Monmouth County Planning Board, because I didn't want the County Planning Board changing something after the fact, because Monmouth Road's a county road and the County Planning Board has taken some interesting positions at best that you don't anticipate. So I was hoping we would get a read on that, so maybe they can bring us up to date on that, but it's not clear to me that they've done that. With regard to, again, the building, under 7A1, we just wanted those soffit lights screened, and that didn't have to be removed, don't have to be replaced, anything expensive. Just put a 1x6 or something to paint the color of the building, make a little soffit extension. It's done all the time. Okay. The other thing I had was the entire building is essentially one color. At some point, and it's painted. At some point, it's got to be painted. We'd like to see some of the trim maybe be painted slightly darker, just to kind of give it a little accent. Not saying you have to trim it with AZEK or anything. Just make the building a little more interesting with two-tone. Okay, site elements. We got some landscaping issues along the front property lines. We all agree they can't be met. The driveways can't be located in certain places. What we asked for was right behind the driveway apron, which is pretty much the property line. If we could put it, say, a 3x24, driveways are typically 24 feet, little pad of Holland stone, just so that it looks a little different as you come in. The site kind of defines the driveway. We're not looking for anything too fancy. It's probably not going to be much different than the cost of the asphalt paving, which is going to be 4 inches thick. They're all the same thickness. So I was hoping we could maybe get an agreement on that and get that on a few other sites also. With regard to the lighting, we recommended kind of a typical old style or colonial style, whatever you want to call it, lamp, and the applicant agreed to do it. We said, please do it in 8 years, and he agreed he would do it in 8 years, and that's great because it'll really make the corner look nice. Lighting plan, in terms of illumination, conforms with the ordinance pretty closely. And again, it's an existing site. It's not easy to do that. So the only issues that I really had, for the most part, were the soffit and the pads behind the driveways. Paint, the board seems to want to go that way. We weren't looking for expensive building improvements, but just enough to screen the lights and maybe make the building accent a little nicer.
Thank you. Mr. Brodsky.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Rick Brodsky on behalf of the applicant, ACHPSC LLC, which I'll refer to as Pat's Garage, just because it's easier for me to remember that. We appeared before the board back in January, and as Jim and Bill indicated, we originally bifurcated the application to just go for the D variance and then come back with an application for site plan, and then since then we went ahead and had the site plan prepared at the in conjunction with discussions that we had with Bill and Jim, who've been very cooperative. After the last meeting, it was suggested that we sit and meet with them and go over some concerns, and we did, and that's how. And then it just took some time to get the plans prepared and to get back before you. So just by way, just to kind of bring us back to where we are and how we got here. So probably most of you are familiar with the site. It's a long-standing community business. Owned by individual. It's not a big company. It's not an ExxonMobil or anything like that. It's a local community business. In fact, it goes back a long time and used to be gas pumps as well as the car repair. And Pat Seward, the current owner, actually worked at the site back when it actually pumped gas. There was gas as well, so which is how we were able to get the testimony and get some knowledge information to you as to the number of cars generated pre-removal of the tanks versus post. And in fact, what happened right before and as part of the sale of the business to Pat Seward, it was disclosed that there was an environmental issue. There were leaking tanks, and not an unusual situation. And a decision was made to pull the tanks, and an additional decision was made not to replace them, and to sort of transform the business into just the service, just the car repair. No pumping of gas. And that happened in about 2013. Unbeknownst to the the irony is that the applicant is before the board because he did the right thing. He cleaned up an environmental condition and pulled tanks, and so end up before the board. He didn't realize that was going to be the case, that making sort of de-intensifying the use at the property was going to now pull him within the jurisdiction of the board. But notwithstanding that, he is here. He has made efforts to improve the property. It is what it is. He has installed landscaping. We've changed it around a little. Although he's upset about that because he's gotten a lot of compliments from passersby and customers. But we appreciate the input that we've gotten from Bill and Jim, and what we did was we took that input. Dave Besch's firm was hired, and Dave came up with a plan. And what we're looking to do is to be able to continue this existing business. And it's a small operator. There are concerns about not going broke. So we want to stay in business. We want to upgrade. We want to be cognizant of improving the aesthetics of the site, but within the budgetary constraints. Now, one of the main issues at the site, which if you've gone to the site you've seen, is the pavement. Pavement is not paved, and it's in bad condition. And what we explained the last time we were here was that there's no one who wants to finish up that parking lot and pave it more than Mr. Seward, because it's for his customers. His customers are pulling on it. It's not an ideal situation. The problem is that there's an ongoing cleanup at the site. And in fact, earlier this week, DEP was back out, or the LSRP working for DEP, doing borings, testing, drilling, and so it precludes the ability to finish off the parking lot and get it torn up every so often when they come back out to do. The hope is that, and from the reports that we have, it's getting close to where the cleanup will be complete, because it got into the water table. The cleanup will be complete, in which case we get a final sign-off from DEP, and then bang, we can finish the parking lot and not worry about it being broken up the day after we put it in. So those. I don't
think that's the board's concern. That
Good.
The parking lot. I don't want to see it paved and then torn up.
Sure.
Paved again.
Sure.
That's
but
ridiculous.
I just wanted to let the board know it's not because he doesn't want to do it. It's because that is out there. So. So that's where we're at. What I'd like to do, unless the board has questions, is just have Mr. Besch come up, just walk the board through the site plan. And but before we do that, I guess, Pat, you testified last time, and Jim incorporated a lot of Pat's testimony into his report in terms of the reduced hours of operation and number of trips, etc. If there's any additional questions the board has with respect to the operation or what have you, we'll have Pat address that, and we'll also have Pat address some of the items that Bill and Jim raised in their report. But I thought it might make sense to just have Dave walk the board through the site plan first, and we'll have him sworn in.
Dave, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name.
David Besch. It's BOESCH.
Okay. And you are here as?
I'm here as the project manager for Nelson Engineering.
Okay.
Do you want to mark the plan then?
That's the
Yeah,
plan that's on the easel is the same that was marked, or that was submitted, whether it was part of the packet B2. Preliminary and final site plan dated May 4th, 2007, revised to October 16th, 2017.
Sure.
Okay, I'll mark it A1.
Okay, Mr. Besh, if you would, just describe for the board what you were asked to do and walk the board through what exists at the site now and what's proposed in the plan that you submitted.
Okay, again, as you all know, the property is the station located in the southeast corner of the intersection of Monmouth Road and Roosevelt Avenue, located in the C1 zone. It currently contains a single-story structure of approximately 1,600 square feet with asphalt pavement located in the westerly side of the property, with open space predominantly occupying the eastern side of the property. What the applicant is proposing to do is offer up a, shall we say, a master plan of the site as to the improvements that would be made as the correction of the environmental conditions allow those improvements to be made. Particularly, obviously, the repaving of the parking lot as once the letter of no further action has been issued, and to provide a vehicle location, a clear designation of where vehicles will be located to allow for access into and through the site under normal operating periods. As was mentioned, there are some stacked vehicles, piggybacked one in front of the other, that would preclude one vehicle from being moved without another also being maneuvered. All those stacked vehicles are located along the southern property edge. There are 4 located in the southwest corner of the site, oriented in a north-south direction, and there are 6 to the south side of the existing building, oriented in an east-west orientation. There are 4 spaces located up against the existing landscape bed in the northwest corner, and 2 spaces located just to the north side of the existing building. I guess it was approximately in 2015 when improvements were made along the Monmouth Road corridor, which included this site, including the replacement of curb and sidewalk, and also provided a clear designation, or maybe not so clear designation, but provided for specific access points to this property from Monmouth Road and from Roosevelt Avenue, where there was just an edge of pavement edge of pavement of the road meeting the edge of pavement of the property. There is now curb, sidewalk, depressed curbs, and defined access points. So that has helped us define the circulation pattern and the placement of the vehicles so that, again, circulation can be made through the property while still allowing for the parking needs of the operation in the areas that would not occlude those driveways. We've also were requested to provide for the solid waste management, the dumpster. All commercial properties in Ocean Township are required to have a dumpster enclosure. This property does not, and it's to be rectified by this plan. With the configuration of the property, it also allowed for a challenge where to locate that dumpster that would allow the service vehicle to get to it, that would minimize the visibility of the dumpster enclosure, and not have us install a significant amount of new impervious surfaces. And with that analysis, the location point of the dumpster was in the southern edge of the site, in line with the front facade of the building. So the service vehicle could enter either from Monmouth Road or from Roosevelt Avenue. It's serviced by the Delissa Cartage Company. They use a front-end loader. The vehicle would traverse in a southerly direction, lift the container, back up, and exit the site. last but not, may not be last, but the primary concern that we did look at, per Mr. Fitzgerald's recommendations, was the lighting. We have noted on the lighting plan the replacement of 2 freestanding light fixtures, one located to the near the northwest corner of the site, near the freestanding sign, and one near the southwest corner of the site, with conventional carriage light style fixtures. There's an existing light pole located near the eastern side of the parking area adjacent to Roosevelt Avenue, but after we did our lighting analysis, that fixture wasn't necessary to achieve the illumination levels required under the ordinance. We did, however, analyze the site based upon the existing fluorescent tubes that run along the soffit of the north, west, and south sides of the building. We did analyze a 6-inch screen along those 3 edges of the soffit. What we found when we did that was that we didn't have enough illumination broadcast into the main driveway area of Monmouth Road, where we had been able to achieve the minimum requirement of 0.6 foot candles. Once we put that soffit screen, the illumination level at that point dropped down to 0.38 foot candles. Now, it was only 1 or 2 foot candles, right, or one or 2 points in the driveway, but again, it did not achieve the minimum requirements of the ordinance.
If it helps any, I'd rather see the soffit and give you the variance for those 2 illumination levels at the right-of-way line.
Understood.
Because you've got 45 feet of fluorescent bulb. It just...
And now, these lights are turned off, right?
Yes.
At the close of business?
We did know, it was so many commercial properties, they say, oh, we'll illuminate.
Well, then you won't be meeting it at all. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, to me, I'd
Right.
rather have you meet the important thing, which is the light source.
Understood.
Is that how major of a thing is that?
It's a trip to Home Depot and a half.
Yeah, 1 by 6 is
Yeah, we can
attached
do
to the
that. We
soffit.
can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, and you know what?
Yeah.
If it helps, I can work with the paving schedule. I'm not hung up on your paving schedule.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe as much as you are, which is fine. We're not trying to
I
bankrupt
got it.
the book here. I just would like to get those
Sure.
soffit lights out of the
I
slate.
think we can do that. I think we can do
Sure. With regard to the building improvements, the building actually was indeed painted this spring. You may recall the old Getty station had the red accent band up underneath the soffit. You may notice that it's now gray, so indeed it was painted, but over time we'll look to provide.
Yeah, next time you paint it, no one's saying to drop. You know, it has to be painted like this month or this year or next year. We're just trying to
Next time
evolve
we do.
into.
Okay.
At some point, you have to paint it. Then just use 2 cans of paint.
You got it. Yeah.
With regard to the ADA parking space, we can convert one of the parking spaces located on the north side of the building to a barrier-free accessible space. It will necessitate utilization of some of the area that's striped out for no parking. Will be, shall we say, cannibalizing that area for the offload area for a barrier-free space.
I mean, how much demand is there for patron parking? They come by to make an appointment to talk to you. It's more storage than anything, is it not?
Mostly that's what it's for. I mean, people want to come in, they pull up, they park right in front of the
Yeah,
building,
exactly.
they park
Come
in
in and
front of the
talk.
door,
Right.
in the middle of the parking lot, wherever they happen to stop.
Right.
And the tandem spaces, I mean, those cars are going to be parked by you.
Well, yeah, I have no issue.
They're used to the tandem moving the car in and out to get the other one out back.
Pat, you have to,
Yes. And he was previously sworn.
Okay.
Just for the record, just state your name and
Patrick Seward,
you're the owner of the.
owner operator of
Okay.
Pat's Garage.
Got it. And you were previously sworn, so you remain under oath.
Yeah, mostly the parking with the double parking is really not an issue for us.
Not at
That's
all.
an everyday thing for us, to swap them back and forth and move them around, so that's, there is no such thing as a parking space.
No, I guess the ADA, there's no way around it. It's not even a local statute, it's a federal statute. But it just seems like it's 2 stalls. If there's a way to do it that you don't eat up 2 stalls, it's great.
Well, they're only eating up 1 stall.
Okay.
Although,
Well, that's in the, okay. All right.
I have to tell you, even if someone comes in and they're handicapped, the chance is that they're gonna
Park right in
get
front
out
of
of
the
the
door.
car. They're gonna park in front of the door.
And have 'em come
Pat's
out.
gonna take their car and they're gonna get a ride away.
Right.
Do we really have to store a car in it? Because then what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up putting an ADA parking space in, and Pat's gonna park a car there overnight. Somebody's gonna want to ticket it.
Well,
Okay?
maybe if the board sees fit to approve it, maybe it could be subject to whatever's required by the code official. If there's no way around it, there's no way around it, and that's that. But if there is, by striping a space right in the front of the door for 15-minute parking for barrier free, because that's what they're going to do anyway. As you said, they're going to come in, park in front of the door, and probably
go.
honk and interrupt him while he's working, which
and
is
they're gonna
it's
go.
fine.
How it works. Beep, beep.
So maybe, at the discretion of the code official, whatever the code official determines has to be done, we'll do.
Okay.
With regard to, there was I think a suggestion about a removal of pavement within the striped areas.
Well, the right of way. On the site, if they're there and you're going to use them, if you're not going to use it, it would be good to get it out.
I believe Mr. Seward may have indicated that there is a seasonal increase in the summertime. There is a seasonal increase for the demand. And since we're essentially looking at a valet parking scenario, that ability to use that additional pavement area in the busier season allows us to accommodate the additional parking need during the busiest
So
times.
about off the property line, over the property line.
And you gotta get a county planning board approval for that.
Understood. We will make the application to the county and address the plan as directed by them.
We can't do it. We'll have to remove it.
Well, we can't. It doesn't.
Have you made application
It's gonna
yet?
look like hell parking out by the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
My office has not made an application yet.
No, we have, and it would
can't
be subject to.
No, no.
So,
How much space is
That's
that?
shown up
How
there?
many spaces will we lose there?
We wouldn't, if we're looking at the pavement within the right-of-way of the various roads, we would not be losing any parking spaces. It's just pavement that is historically been there, but
Serves no
to be
function
removed.
other than to bring the cars right out to the sidewalk.
Got it.
well, yeah, that's how it used to be, paving everywhere.
I know.
That's what it was, just to the
I'm
street.
not saying it doesn't look better.
It's
That's
greasy,
why we're working
yeah.
with you.
Okay, we can figure that out.
With regard to landscaping,
Yeah.
we have provided for screening of the dumpster enclosure and along the southeastern corner of the vehicle storage area. The applicant has actually expressed me a concern about providing screening of those southwestern vehicles for security purposes, for the protection of those vehicles. That he would like to get permission for me to remove those screen trees, not from around the dumpster, but from around those vehicle storage spaces.
Are they Leland cypress?
I've shown them as eastern red cedars.
Red cedar, okay, well, what about putting in something that grows like a height of 4 to 5 feet? That would just go around and screen the vehicles, but not completely hide the area.
My concern about that is people breaking into cars. I have a zero problem right now, none whatsoever. Because the property is kind of open and you can kind of see, if somebody's driving down the road, you can always see somebody in the parking lot or whatever. My concern with fence, putting up bushes like that are 5 or 6 feet high, what you gotta do now is duck down a little bit and nobody's gonna see
Even
it.
3 to 4 feet high.
And what about a lower one?
Yeah, 3 to 4 feet.
How about something like 2-foot juniper?
Just something just to soften it up.
Something
Yeah,
headlight,
something 2 foot would probably.
Yeah, like a short
Like
juniper.
the 5 or 6 feet, that just.
Yeah, no, short juniper kind of spreads and stays up.
What? On the southern property line?
What is it?
Southeast, Mark. Right, southeast property line we're talking
Yeah.
about?
the southeast corner of the vehicle storage area.
So we're gonna say Bushes not to exceed 2 feet?
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna-
evergreen, like an
It's gonna
evergreen, something,
replace it to the
you need
satisfaction.
something that's rugged.
It's gonna have to resubmit a landscaping
Right.
plan,
Yeah.
you know, but
The 12 Eastern red cedar that are there will be replaced with something that's lower, 2 to 3 feet in height, and still provide a solid screen there, but not something that's gonna block off the vehicles.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's,
that all you
that's
have?
what I have.
Okay. And then, we agreed, we agreed with the timetable that Bill had included within his report.
Okay.
So that works. Plus these additional items. My only request would be, Bill had referenced the requirement of bonding for the improvements.
Okay.
Our request would be that we not be required to bond, that it be a condition of the approval. And if the, if it was not met, he would be subject to being summoned and in violation, just like any other violation of a resolution condition. I know that, there's always an enforcement issue question in those types of situations, but we're trying to kind of work a compromise here, and the cost associated with bonding would be costs that would be better served with doing some of these additional items that are being required.
I'm not sure, I mean, every site plan is bonded. I understand that there's a difference over 8 years, I don't dispute that, I just don't know how to resolve it.
Yeah, because since we're talking about a long period of time, we're talking about paying bonding fees for years and years as opposed to a shorter time frame. At some point, it becomes a significant.
All right, how about
cost.
this?
Yeah.
Typically, you bond for 2 years or something, right, 2 or 3.
Right.
So, the bonds would be staged. Okay? What you're gonna do in the first 3 years, you bond now. When that's done, and you bring in a new bond, then you get that bond released. But you'll never have more than one bond going, and it'll only be for what's going to be done in the immediate future. So you're not carrying the bond for the 8-year light plan from day one for 8 years, but that first bond doesn't get released until the second bond's posted.
I don't
Does that
know
make
what
sense
the
or no?
pricing on such a bond schedule would be. You might find that it's onerous.
I'm not sure what the costs are for that.
I don't know if that would improve it for them.
Well, it costs about 1% to carry a bond for a year.
And we're talking about fairly modest numbers here, right?
Right.
In terms of
Right. But I understand it.
nothing prohibits cost, is what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, to me, there's no site plan that's approved that's not bonded.
Right. It seems that it's a long period of time, though, 8 years.
I agree. That's why I'm happy to do something to come up with a scheme for cutting the
Right.
cost, even if it's small.
Russ.
If I understand what Bill's saying is that he's not bonding 100%
Right.
of all the improvements for the whole 8 years.
Right.
He's bond for each segment, so it's still 8 years of bonding, but it's on a much smaller piece. 'cause
Right. It's
only
almost like
works
bonding
at a time.
the whole thing for a 2-year period versus
Does that
bonding
does that
the-
work?
So you'd have to have a punch list of exactly what you're going to do at each.
bonding schedule.
Right. You'd have to have a
So,
bonding schedule.
On
But he has the
years 1 through
improvements.
2, he's gonna do X,
Right.
at a price and you bond it. Years 3 and 4, he's gonna do Y, and then in order to get the bond back from X, you need to post the bond for Y, right? So you need a bonding schedule that you're gonna.
Probably makes
Well, there's an
sense.
improvement schedule on the plan.
Makes sense to do it that way.
I mean, it certainly.
Yeah. I mean, can we even get a bond for something like that? For painting or?
Well, I mean, the painting maybe we can work on. And the soffit things are Home Depot 1x6s. I think we can work on the important things like the paving, the lighting, the landscaping, the things that would normally be bonded. I don't think if we can, Rick, if there was a big site plan, say like Seaview, right?
Yeah.
They don't bond for the building; they bond for the site improvement. So we won't bond for the soffit, we won't bond for the painting, that kind of thing. I mean, you can't.
I don't think Pat's going anywhere. It's his business,
Right.
and I think that putting up 1x6s and painting, I agree. We really, but you have to bond the stuff that everybody else does.
But we can make it so that you don't bond and
Right.
carry the bond for 8
Don't
years.
carry the bond.
We'll stage it.
And clearly the more
Better
expensive,
not take
Excuse
me
me?
years too.
Pat, but clearly the more expensive stuff is at the end, and it would be in the last bond, and you would be knocking it off.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Brodsky, we have 5 minutes left.
Okay. Can we have my planner, unless the board has any other questions?
Well, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Besh? Anyone have any questions right now for Pat? Okay,
We're gonna expedite our planner's testimony and make
5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Throw away the outline and.
Let's
fit it
just
in
go.
4.5.
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
State your name.
My name is Barbara Allen. I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey and
Okay.
an AICP.
Have you testified
I'm aware-
before this?
I'm aware of the quality.
Okay,
Yes, and I have testified before the board.
okay.
Okay. Barbara, go and,
Can I just?
you're in. You have an exhibit, yeah? A2? Just explain for the record what that is.
A2 is an exhibit, is an aerial of the overall neighborhood.
Okay.
Just to quickly explain, this is our subject property right here, and what we're trying to do is improve what is already there while maintaining this buffer that's over here. So, when the applicant removed the refueling, it changed it just to a principal auto service, and so now we're requesting a D2 variance. I want to note that per Burbridge, when you're decreasing the intensity, it is seen as a positive. So in this instance, the applicant is improving an existing nonconformity and bringing it in closer conformity with the neighborhood. It is improving landscaping that previously was not provided. It is helping to eliminate detriments associated with traffic patterns where people were cutting through this property in order to avoid the traffic light, and is providing us parking. And we noticed that on site the parking is more of valet service, so that concerns related to pulling out and everything, it's actually going to be the members on site who are doing this parking and who are familiar with the traffic patterns. When we look to negative, I do not see any. The site is operated as it currently exists for a long time and is actually less intense. As the applicant has stated, there's significantly less traffic, there's less turnover, there's less noise trash of the nuisances which we typically look for. When we look to our bulk variances, as mentioned by Mr. Higgins, these are existing conditions that are being improved. Yes, they are bulk variances, but they're being lessened by the current application. The master plan encourages the rateable base within the community, which is providing a local service and obviously lives locally, and is promoting the points of the master plan. Did I miss anything?
I think you're good. So in your opinion, the variances, both the bulk and the D variances, are supported by the facts and the testimony given this evening, and the benefits of same outweigh any detriment?
Yes.
Questions?
Any questions from the board?
No.
Good.
It took me longer to read her testimony outline.
So, we're pretty much out of time. We're gonna have to carry this.
Okay.
So we're gonna carry it to,
Our testimony is
see if there's any
complete.
questions from the public,
Yeah.
Okay.
just so we know?
Yeah.
We're looking at
Any
it.
questions from the,
We have no further testimony.
you don't?
No.
Any questions from the public?
Move to close the public hearing. I move to close the public hearing.
I second,
John Fuller.
John Fuller?
and I second.
Maureen.
Maureen Bonney?
Gee.
Please call the roll.
Close the public hearing.
Ms. Bonnie?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mrs. Moza?
Yes.
Mrs. Now?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Snow? And Mr. Lero?
Yes. How many people do we have eligible tonight? We have 7. I mean, 5 more minutes, you can make a decision.
That's true.
2 minutes.
Well, I didn't say or less, yeah.
Okay, so,
You need 3 things, okay?
Okay,
D2, which you just heard testimony on because it's an expansion of pre-existing non-conforming use. 2 is the bulk variances, which we can go over real fast when we're ready for it. And the site plan, subject to Bill and Jim and bonding and everything, and landscaping through our professionals. Those are the three things you need. And Monmouth County Planning Board, Monmouth County Planning Board would be a condition of the site plan.
Why do they have to go?
Because they're on a county road.
County road.
That's the law.
They may
Okay.
tell us they have no interest, but
Okay, that's
Right. But the problem is they say, no, we want 2 feet of your
Right.
frontage, then all of their parking spaces get screwed up or something, then they gotta come back here.
So first we have to vote on the D2.
Yes, versus the D2.
I'll move for a positive resolution on the
Yes.
D2 variance.
I second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Ms. Bonnie?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Malta?
Yes.
Mr. Now?
Yes.
Mr. Sepita?
Yes.
Mr. Snow? And Mr. Worrell?
Yes.
Okay, Mark, can you read us the bulk?
Yeah, the bulk variance is, he's got parking setback from street, it requires 25 feet from the street, I don't know what he is. Several parking spaces are located within 20 feet of the front property line. Nothing he can do, there's existing parking spaces. I don't know, what's the exact number on that, Dave?
Number of parking spaces within 25 feet?
Yeah.
That number is 7.
Yeah.
There are 11 spaces within 25 feet.
And what's the closest?
0.
And they're right on the front, and that's where they are.
Yeah,
These
that's
are all
where
on
they-
on the side of the property, right?
Right.
That's the number one. Number two, the parking space width, they're trying to do 9s instead of 10s to get a little more. Basically, they probably get 1 extra parking space.
yes.
As a result of that, and that 1 extra is now going to be made into a handicapped. Okay. If it's required.
Only
by
if
the
he has
code-
to.
Code
Yes.
enforcement, I got that one, okay. Parking
Pat-
within
Pat,
the
you
front
and your
yard.
Staff park the cars, it's not customers parking the cars, so
No.
you don't need
No, I
extra
told you, they
wide
just park in the
spots.
middle of the parking lot wherever they happen to be.
Okay,
And 9 feet is not an unreasonable
We've
number.
approved 9 feet on many others.
sure.
Parking, right, parking within the front yard, well, they're all parking within the front, there's nothing we can do with that. The curb cuts, they were I think the testimony was 2015, the curb cuts were set by the town in the front and the one on the
Yes,
side
they
street.
exist.
Township manager.
They-
And they all were, otherwise it was a free space before, it was
Like
just to
before it
pull
was
in.
open everywhere.
And these were existing, minimum landscape required, he's improved it, but it's still gonna be subject to whatever landscaping,
Yes.
is required by Jim, and a minimum landscape along the property lines, the same thing. He's giving us more than was there, but doesn't meet the ordinance requirements. Same for the buffer, although the rear property is 58 feet, the building from the rear property line, that back area is just gonna be grassed, I understand?
Yeah, like it is now.
You're not putting in any buffer or anything like that, so that, there's a buffer
There's
required,
buffer area, but,
Planted.
well, yeah.
but they want that
Waived.
waived. And then there's also we're gonna need a variance for lighting. They can't meet the 5.5 foot candles?
At the driveway, at the mouth of the driveway on the county road.
Oh, yeah.
The county put in the lighting.
On County Road. They can't meet that if they put the soffit up.
Right,
More
And the
important.
trade is the soffit will soften the lighting when it's on.
correct.
And that's a pretty well lit corner.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
That's why I'm not worried
So
about it.
those are the variances.
I'll
Someone
move for a
offer?
positive resolution with those conditions.
I'll second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Malta?
Yes.
Mr. Now?
Yes.
Mr. Sepita?
Yes.
Mr. Snow?
Yes.
And Mr. Worrell?
Yes.
Now,
Last.
The last is the site plan, and they're gonna have to be revised in accordance with Bill and Jim's requirements and a bonding schedule
Okay,
to flip
I got
as each period gets done and paid off to the next one. And Monmouth County Planning Board approval's gotta be in the, in the site plan approval. That has to be done before
Or a
we get.
letter of no interest.
Well,
But it won't be on that county road, they'll approve it.
whatever, but
Okay.
Monmouth County Planning Board approval or letter of no interest is a requirement, and everything that our board professionals want, and of course, everything is subject to their review before the site plan will be given to you for execution.
someone offer?
I'll offer it.
Second? Second. Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Emerson
Yes.
can execute before this does.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Thank you. Please see Mr. Kirk. You have to,
Can't give it all.
do they need to see, you have it? We changed a little.
He knows what he has to do.
Okay,
He knows what he has to do.
thank you.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
and
Good luck.
Rick, I'll send you the proposed resolutions
before they're submitted, so we'll have a next meeting at the end. 21st of December, yeah, it's about 6 weeks. Probably all forget what we did.
Next case is case number 4, John and Beth Jenkin, Block 38, Lot 62, 2833 Asbury Avenue, Ocean Zone R2. This is an application to keep and complete construction of a 6-foot solid fence for the variance for fence height over maximum in a front yard. This is a corner lot. First time you're here?
Yes.
Okay. Who's going to testify?
Okay, I will.
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Please state your name and address.
I don't want the carriage.
Okay.
Get rid of it.
Okay. And you're not going to testify at all?
I can get it better. Shouldn't need.
That's the boss.
Better raise your hand. Raise your right
Not gonna
hand.
get
Swear to
it.
tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the
These
truth.
guys.
I do.
Please state your name and address.
John Jenkin, 2833 Asbury Avenue, Ocean.
Okay. Thank you. Both testify. Okay.
Where's Asbury?
Can you mark the packet, please?
Terrace?
No, that's back, like holding in, like Greenwood Road.
Okay.
Up by-
Yeah.
B1. Report.
Yep. And I'll make it quick. This is a lot, it's an unusual situation. It's either a corner lot or a through lot because one corner of the lot touches Cold Indian Springs
Right.
Road, which sets the requirement that they have to have the fence set back 50 feet if it's gonna be 6 foot high. One side of the lot butts a vacant county lot, the other side of the lot butts a residence. And then, because of the way the lot's situated, it fronts on Asbury Avenue. This is out in the wayside section, just a short distance from the gas station was robbed last night.
Right.
And,
Who was robbed last night?
and what they're proposing to do is to set the fence back 22 feet from that corner of the lot, so it'll be set back 20 feet, I think it is. It's 22-foot section of the fence is set back 20 feet from Cold Indian Springs Road. So it sort of cuts off the corner of the lot, and there'll be 30 foot of each side of the fence that's technically within that required front yard. But
Okay.
what they're doing makes sense. The only question I have is whether they should put a little landscaping adjacent to the fence on the Cold Indian Springs side.
You want more landscape?
That's all wooded.
It's all wooded.
Yeah,
There
it's all wooded, that's
Totally
fine.
wooded.
It really is wood. I looked at it. It's not much. The only question I have is that you have a fair amount of construction equipment. Is that going to be behind the fence?
Yes.
So that's all going to be behind the
Yep.
fence. The front end loader and the trailer. Okay.
It's a curved fence.
So I have no problem.
Okay.
I have a report dated September 28th. I just said that it's a pretty unique corner. It's pretty
Right.
it's really well screened. They chamfered the corner like we asked them to at adjacent property. I have no problem with it.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Move to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
John Fuller. He doesn't talk loud. Please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Action.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
We're ready to vote.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you very much. Please see Rachel.
Sorry you had to come here.
Really?
We made up that 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
We wrapped up the first we ran over for the first one. So nobody else is inconvenienced by time.
Next case is case number 5, Adam Mell Incorporated, Block 18, Lot 4, 323 Roosevelt Avenue, Oakhurst, R4 zone. This is an application to keep an existing in-ground pool patio and walkway on the corner with lot variances for front yard setback under minimum pool patio required 30, existing 24, proposed 24.
Somebody else must own 10%.
Front yard setback under minimum pool walkway required 30, existing 18, proposed 18. Side yard setback 10, existing 8, proposed 8. Rear yard setback required 10, existing 9, proposed 9. Mr. Assis.
Hi, good evening, members of the board. David Essex on behalf of the property owner.
Well, wait a minute. Can we mark the packet, please? B1? Okay. Reports, please.
Okay, sure, and I'll summarize this one also. The chairman has already described the variances, so I won't go into them again. There are existing nonconformities. The one that really drives this application is the fact that the lot width is required to be 90 feet. This is a corner lot with a 60-foot width. So you're required to have a front yard setback of 30 feet on both sides. And when you have a 60-foot lot width and a required setback 30 feet, you've only got 30 feet left to work with. So what's happened is that the pool patio has encroached into both side yards because there's a very narrow area to work with. I don't have a major problem with this at all. In fact, I don't have any real problems with it. The rear yard setback is 9 feet instead of 10 feet, and that's only one little corner, about a square foot of the pool surround.
Really?
So that's de minimis. The other setbacks are really driven by the narrow width of the lot, and you really couldn't have a decent pool there unless you had some sort of setback relief on either side. They do have screening around, they have a fence, which is a conforming fence, and they have screening, which currently I think conforms. My concern is they appear to be arborvitaes, and they might grow together and grow higher. So you might, if you do approve it, I would suggest some sort of a condition that those plants not be allowed to grow any higher than 6 feet, which is consistent with
6
other
feet?
applications that you've done, yes. Other applications, in fact, you just approved the one almost across the street, or just down the street and across the street from this
Right.
one, the 80s one, and did the resolution tonight. So it'll be very similar to that. Other than that, I don't have a real problem with it.
Okay.
There's no engineering issues with it.
Okay.
Would you like to swear in the witness?
Yes, I will.
Do you need to?
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay. Can you state your name and address, please?
Camille Estes, 3403 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11210.
Okay. All right.
You're the president of the owner of the property? You've heard the reports of the town experts. I really just wanted to understand from you what happened with this side. We're really going into we're requesting variance. The work is already done. You explain to the board for the benefit of why we're here, what happened.
When we applied for the pool, the 3 feet of cement was included in the price of the pool, and I didn't even know that there was an issue with setbacks. When he came to pour the cement and we saw what 3 feet was gonna look like, we said, oh, we can't even fit a patio chair on that. Would it be okay to go a little wider? And he said, I don't see a problem. You have plenty of coverage. So I said, okay, go for it. I figured I would amend it later. And then I realized when I came to amend it that I couldn't because it's a corner of property and it has 2 front yards and that.
I like to say that's uncommon, but every
the
guy with
same
a
guy
cement
every
truck that
job.
puts in a pool does that. So, okay.
You, right?
Yeah. I understand. Okay. Well, Mr. Higgins has no problem with this, and I think we all kind of know where you're coming from. So, are there any questions from the board? Do you agree to not the shrub? You have to limit the height of the shrubs to
Mr. Chair,
6 feet.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
Mr. Hagan, this, where these are, this isn't near a corner, right?
It's a corner, yeah. It's a corner property.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but
the
where these
trees aren't at the
shrubs
corner,
are
right?
not gonna change the sight line, or will it? That's my question.
No,
Because-
no, they're not gonna affect the site distance of the corner, no.
So why do we have to keep it so, why,
We don't allow it.
Because it's
The ordinance requires that if it's solid, it be no more than 3 feet high.
no matter where it is?
Yeah, no matter where.
Or in the front
As long
yard.
as it's in the front yard. If it was set back 30 feet, it could be
Got
anyway.
it, okay.
Okay. And that's one of the things we talked about earlier, that maybe,
Yep, we'll talk about that.
we may wanna look at that when we do the annual report.
Yeah, because I mean, this
Yeah,
is pretty close to the line where a
Yeah,
little bit higher
absolutely.
might not be the worst thing in the world.
absolutely.
Okay.
But right now, you do realize you have to keep those to 6 feet at maximum.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second. Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Action?
I'll move for a positive resolution with the condition that shrubbery be limited to 6 feet.
Need a second?
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Thank you. See Rachel, please. Next case is Kate 6, Rebecca Weiner, Block 131, Lot 9, 1309 Wickapecker Drive, Ocean, Zone R6. This is an application to construct a second-story addition, an exterior shower with a 6-foot enclosure with variance for front yard setback, side yard setback, and side yard setback for the accessory structure. Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Rebecca Weiner, 1309 Wickapecker Drive in the Wanamassa part of Ocean.
Okay. Can you mark the packet, please? Thank you. Mr. Higgins?
Yeah, surely, I'll read portions of it, but the applicant is, summarize and read some. The applicant's proposing to modify a prior approval. What they're proposing to do is raise the building up rather than spread it out over the lot. They need a variance for principal residence side and front yard setbacks. The existing residence is a pre-existing non-conforming structure that has a side yard setback on the north side of 2.8 feet and 5 feet is required, and the front yard setback on Wickapecker Drive of 25.3 feet where 30 feet is required. The applicant is proposing to expand the non-conforming setbacks vertically. The property to the north is also a through lot. And this subject site is a through lot from Vina through to Wickapecker. And the existing residence to the north is located on the western portion of that lot, and the existing residence on this site is located more to the east. I'm sorry. Okay, the existing property to the north. Okay, the residence is located on the eastern portion of that lot. I got my directions to this. And the one on this site is located on the western portion of the lot. So that there doesn't seem to be any significant negative impact with regard to light, air, and open space because it's not directly adjacent to another residence. It's approximately 25 feet in height, and it's less than the height requirement of the zone 30 feet, but it will be higher than most of the buildings in the surrounding area. But the zone permits it, and the zone anticipates what's going to be happening in the zone is that buildings are going to start going up as people need more space. There's a variance for the outdoor shower setback. The proposed outdoor shower setback 6 feet from the southern property line. And since the combined setback is 10 feet for the lot, the combined side yard setback, and when you look at the 2.8 feet on the north and the 6 feet on the south, the combined setback is less than 10 feet. So technically there's a variance necessary there. Quite frankly, nobody can see the shower from the other side, and I don't see any impact on light, air, and open space there. As far as the patio setback, the ordinance requires the patio to be set back a minimum of 10 feet. The proposed patio, which is an extension of the existing walkway from Wickapecker Drive to the rear of the building, is set back 2 feet. The extension of the walk to form the southern side of the new patio is a logical improvement. To do so otherwise would not make sense. Consequently, I have no problem with this variance. And the air conditioner and condensers setback, the ordinance requires the air conditioners and condensers be set back 10 feet. And the two proposed condensers are set back 6 feet and 7.5 feet respectively. Since the principal building setback is 5 feet, and the condensers are accessories that are required to be set back 10 feet, there's an inconsistency in the ordinance there that has to be addressed also in the future, I think.
Okay.
But I have no real problem with them being set back the distance they are, because it's actually greater than the principal building setback requirement. So,
That's it? Any engineering?
I have no engineering issues with this.
Okay. Who's going to testify?
So I'd like to put a second story on the house. It's a small ranch, and by putting a second floor, I can open up the bottom floor, have the kitchen, living, dining room, an open space, and that allows for 3 bedrooms on the second floor with 2 full baths. This is a better plan, in my opinion, because it gives me more space, and for the price of what it was going to cost for the other plan, I'm getting way more out of this plan. And I'm not going to eat up any of the yard.
Okay.
And I can swear in the architect if you'd like.
Will the siding on the house match the existing siding, or it all be consistent?
It'll all be
All new
consistent.
siding, or?
Yes.
That's okay.
Roof will be consistent?
Yes.
Everything?
The
Window.
roof, it's the second story.
Oh, yeah, she's taking the roof off.
But it'll be the same.
Put a new one
I
on.
think 3 bedrooms.
And would you like to testify?
I may.
Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name.
Donald Passman from Passman Ercolino Architects.
Mr. Passman, you have the floor.
I'm a licensed architect. I've testified here
You've
many,
been-
many times.
Yes, we accept your credentials.
As Rebecca had said, that again, the previous approval we had earlier this year actually was for a on-grade addition. That gave her a nice kitchen and another bathroom and so forth, but it still left 2 small bedrooms.
Right.
Like, okay, let's do a sketch, and I did a sketch, and we wanted to try a second-story addition, which is what you're looking at today. And the violations by doing that is the front yard setback on the Wickapeco side. The house is kind of flat up against this skewed property line, and it's already in the front yard setback. So a couple things happened when I did the addition in order to get a little bit bigger bedroom on the north side of the house addition. There's a cantilever of 2 feet, but even that, with that cantilever, it's still less of a setback than the existing corner. So we didn't really go any further than the setback. The other setback issue is that because the north side of the house is 2.8 feet from the property line, anything we do vertically from there is a variance. And the thought of trying to move it back 2.5 feet, 5-foot official setback, didn't make any sense, not only in plan, but aesthetically, it would have been a nightmare. So the idea is to just go straight up, ask for the variance, hopefully the board would grant that, and then she would have this 3 bedrooms, 2 baths upstairs, closet space, so it's a marketable, regular house like anybody would want to have, versus the other one, which was 2 small bedrooms and a beautiful kitchen. This way we get the nice kitchen, we get the great open space, powder room downstairs, and then the
Upstairs.
2 bedrooms, 2 baths up. And the basement is not very useful except really for storage, because it's only about 6 feet tall. So there's not like a lot of extra space down there to use for living space. I thought this was the best alternative. I mean, we can go through the drawings, but that's really the bottom line. And I'll go further if anybody has any further questions.
I was curious if there is any kind of light issues for the adjoining properties?
Light and air, so to speak.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the length of property line on the north side is 129 feet.
Mhm.
The width of the house is about 28 feet. So we're not using up that much of the light and air in that one little block.
And Maureen,
My
if you
opinion.
compare what's being proposed here with what would be permitted on the thing, they could build a building set back 5 feet from that north property line and go up another 5 feet higher. So I don't think
Really?
so there's really I don't think there's any more impact than what would happen with a conforming building on lot.
Any other questions from the board?
Just curious about the outdoor shower. You don't have a pool. What's the purpose of that?
Just as an accessory for the beach. It's just no use
Sounds
other
good.
than just to wash off.
Just to rinse off. Okay.
Yes.
She's approximately 1.5 miles from the ocean. It's a lot of sand.
It's actually exactly a mile to the boardwalk.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Any other questions? Any questions from the public?
I got a quick question.
Oh.
What kind of siding were you considering? Like a typical 3-inch vinyl or like a 6-inch fiber cement maybe?
I have not decided yet because my plan has not been approved.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say that if instead of 3 inch, they're usually 4 inch.
4-inch, sorry.
Just so you know. But anyway, also about the outdoor shower. I mean, this is really, we're calling it an outdoor shower, but building code wise, it's considered a rinse station, meaning it doesn't have a roof, it doesn't have a drain to the plumbing, so it's really just like washing your car. Only you're hosing off. She's not.
I like it.
Showers out there, right?
I think that's great.
We're doing this for many, many houses now.
Okay.
They don't have drains.
They don't have drains.
Is that in the-
Unless you call it a shower,
the dirt?
then you need to have an enclosure and a roof and a drain. Semantics, really.
Yes, sir.
Two quick questions. The front of the house is the east elevation, is that right? What I'm looking at here?
That's her, yeah, that's where she enters the house from Vina.
What the back? Or is it, no, it's the back,
No,
right?
that's the Vina side.
Okay, so which is, so I'm looking.
There's two
for the-
fronts, obviously,
Yeah.
just technically, but the Wiccapeco side is
Okay.
a visual front.
This is the
Architectural
front.
front.
Right,
It's like a
okay.
little bungalow, right.
So that's
And
by
then-
ordinance, that's the front.
Yeah.
So just walk me through the back here, these two doors to the back are, where do they lead?
Okay, so.
Just help me out, just real quick.
I'm gonna try to point it out here.
I guess neither one of them leads to stairway upstairs, right?
These are the plans that were submitted. The revision date was 10/23/17. A4, on page A4. And the only reason for the revision was to show the outdoor shower, the fencing and so forth, which was not on the original plan. So there's on the Vina side, east elevation, there's a door at the top of the stairs on the right-hand side, which would be the north side of the house. That's actually where the entrance is today, only it's lower to the ground. So you come in and you go up a couple steps today. When it's renovated, you go up some steps, you hit the porch, and you go in. The other door you can see on the left-hand side of that porch is from the living room. If you look at the floor plan, it's a logical kind of approach. You're entertaining and so forth, you want to spill out onto the porch, that would be the way to go. Because if you look at the floor plan, this is the north side door. You come in here and then you have a door to the basement, because the basement stairs are there now. So we're kind of trying to leave as much of that framing as we can. So you come in and, you know, with the groceries or whatever, you come in through here. If you're entertaining and you want to go out to the porch, you would go this way. And it gives a little bit of a flow, but it's not like a two-family kind of situation. I think this will be more like a French door and this will be more like a front door.
Okay. The other question I had is, you're not going to be the first house in your block that has 2 stories, right? There's
No.
2-story houses across the street from you, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a couple on the block.
Okay.
And the upper story, I mean, whatever, the attic is just purely an attic. We're probably going to have a mechanical unit in there. There'll be a pull-down stairs for storage and whatnot.
Any other questions? Any questions from the public? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Please state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Diane Finnegan, 1313 Vina. I am the house just north, and I'm towards the front, so I'm in the east. So this house will actually look down into my house, onto my property, and block. The house will actually be shading my property and my deck, and overlooking it in. With the porch, the way she has shown, the porch is actually going to be even with my deck, halfway over my fence, and from here to him would be my deck. So with the porch on it, when you stand on her porch, you can basically see in my living room, or not my living room, my kitchen, my bathroom, and my bedroom. It's the whole side of the house. It's extremely close. She's 2.8 feet off my property. The awning on the eave on the side of the house is actually on my property line. So it's totally going to invade my privacy and also affect the value of my house. No one's going to want to live there. And I don't know, I didn't see the plans for the north side of that property. I don't know if there's a window there, but actually all the windows in the second floor will overlook my house. Is there anything going here? No, just siding is not a window? Okay. No, this whole thing, and even with the door coming out on that porch, we're from here to here. There is a fence, a 6-foot fence, but if she raises this up, then her porch is going to be halfway up the fence. So I can literally sit there and talk, which invades all my privacy. I've been there for 36 years.
Mr. Pressman, how many steps up is that? Thank you.
I believe it's about, I think it's about 4 steps up, and it's 1 step down from the floor of the house. Now, the floor of the house isn't changing First floor. So what we want to do is we're going to step down one step to a porch, which we typically do. That's normal. And it is a couple more steps up. Now, the orientation mostly of this house, like there are no real windows facing that north side.
Right.
There's no reason for having it. There's I think a window on the stairwell or something.
Right.
So everybody's orienting themselves to the back of Rebecca Wiener's house.
Yeah.
So I understand your concern. There is a fence there, I believe, and I don't know if there's any plant growth also on that side.
There's nothing. But the door here and the porch. Oh. The door that's here and the porch and raising it is, one of my big concerns. If it was just the porch wasn't there, the doors remained where they are, and just maybe one door and your patio would give me a little bit more privacy. She's 2.8.
Let me ask you.
Overhang is actually right on the property line.
Not true. That's not true, because it's 2.8 feet away at the siding, and that's only sticks over another foot. But again, the house doesn't orient that way. I guess we could put a lattice screen or something on that north side of the porch edge if you wanted, because it'll give a little bit of privacy.
Ma'am, just one
Now, one at a time, please.
When they're standing or sitting on the porch, it's right next to me.
Is there a porch there now?
There's no porch there now. The door is actually down here, and there's no porch. There's a patio there, but the fence divides the two of us, so it's a little bit easier.
Do you have a deck or a porch?
I have a deck 6 feet off the fence right at this point.
Mhm.
So her back door is going to be at my fence. So
Is your deck on the ground?
it's this high up. It's one step up.
Do you have a low deck?
I have a low deck. And but it also, anything here can look directly into my bedroom, my kitchen, and my bathroom. It's just level.
So your
It's
big,
like from here to here to here.
so your big concern is just the porch.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to put a screen on that side? Like a lattice type screen?
What else can you do to help this problem?
All along here.
I'm gonna just as in general, the house that it exists today with the windows where they are today could be looked at in the same way.
Yes.
She could go and get a permit to put, I believe, without a variance, a front porch on her house now.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask.
So, I understand your concern. Don't get me wrong. I don't think my client is interested in looking at your property. She never told me that she wants to raise up so she can look at other people's property. She wants to just have a nice house, and the porch makes sense to be at that level that we placed it. The orientation of her porch is not aiming to your property. It's a peripheral shot, but maybe a lattice panel over there would help. There are a lot of properties throughout Monmouth County that I've worked on, and I can name a lot of the towns: Ocean Grove, Neptune, Asbury, and properties are right next to other properties, and people can look into their properties. That's just nature. I mean, if you want full privacy, Ocean Township or Monmouth County, Jersey Shore isn't the place. And everybody's respectful. I think my client's going to be respectful of your property, just like you're respectful of her property now, I'm sure. And that's just the nature of life. I mean, people's houses are up, they have windows, they look down. I don't see any way around it. It's not like you can design that out of a project.
If you put lattice there and there was landscaping outside of the lattice, would that give each of these women privacy within their own property?
I would think that some landscaping on that side would help, and the lattice panel on the edge of that would be an easy repair.
Although, well, let's look at this both ways. You don't want to enclose the whole thing.
No.
Because
Only on that north side. It's like a six.
I have to tell you, even people with larger pieces of property in the wayside area have decks, and you can see from property to property.
Right.
I have a deck and can see 3 houses up.
Right.
The porch is fully conforming. The porch is actually set back more than 5 feet, it looks like.
Really?
Right, so if there was no second floor and they were denied this variance, she could put that exact deck on here without
That's
any
right.
approval from us.
Exactly.
But she's
This is-
willing to put on some lattice on the
Well,
side and
there's
some
something.
landscaping.
Okay, so,
Something like that is going to be a good neighbor. I mean, it's a very tight
Right.
zone. because of-
It's very tight.
It's tight, this section.
so if you're willing to, put some lattice or something, I think it would make you a great neighbor and everybody would be happy, right?
The lattice would match the siding.
Make canvas awnings
I
or,
would-
or lattice panels, which we've done in different
Okay.
conditions.
Is there any way we
Not
can
good.
reduce the
But
porch to the
landscaping
patio?
over there too would be fine too.
What was the question?
The porch is conforming. So if they didn't put, if they didn't put a second story on, they could still put the porch right there, correct?
But the answer is, they are putting a second
They-
story on, okay?
Yeah, but
And
they-
they
well-
do need variances.
Right.
So that if you think that the porch is a little too wide, and want to bring it in another couple of feet, the board can condition an approval upon that.
Well, how wide is the porch? Mr. Passman?
How long is the?
Looks like 5 steps up.
No. How long is the porch?
But it's the north end of the
Now,
porch
I-
that's the question,
purposely-
correct? It's not a question. The south end, it could go 35,
Right.
40, 50 feet,
And
no
why
one
does it go
cares.
further the other way?
Exactly.
Just, so the porch is 6 feet deep, and the
No,
point
no,
of keeping the
How
porch,
wide is it? How
wait a minute,
long?
the porch being 6 feet deep
Can't do much
is
on it.
purposeful to be kind of small, because you'd like it to be bigger typically, but we're running into the detached garage. So there's a 10-foot requirement, and that's one of the variances, is being too close to that garage if we get too close. So we don't want it too close to the garage for variance reasons and for practical
Right.
reasons. You can't walk between them. So 6 feet was the compromise. The length of it is, I believe, 21 or 22 feet, about 24 feet, maybe 25, the length of it.
How about 24.28? So it's on the plans.
Right. So the depth of it is, something we want to do. If you make something less than a 6-foot deck, you have a hard time sitting there with your feet out. Because you got a railing there too, so it makes it even less.
Right.
So it's sort of the best we could do, and we didn't want to, I could have gone out and then come back in. We just made it straight because it looked better with the lines of the house.
It doesn't cover the entire back of the house.
Does or does not?
No.
Does not.
Does not,
Does not.
correct?
Correct.
No.
Yeah, I don't think you could, if you're talking about the run, I don't see how you can make it any shorter because there's 2 doors. If you
Right.
make it shorter, the doors, you.
So it's gonna be on the
you fall
steps.
down, yeah, you.
Right
on
now,
the
the
deck.
door is on the ground. There is no porch there. The door exists down here.
Right.
And this porch is not here. It's just a patio,
I
cement
understand.
patio there.
Okay, so you'll screen that in some manner, that,
Get a lattice that's the same material and color as the siding or something like that done, and it goes with
It's
all the-
it's
The
the
color of the tree.
okay.
Ma'am,
It's here,
ma'am.
but it's also going to be here because I am so close. Her house is here in the porch, and not my deck is right on the other side. It's right here, so they would be right on my deck, like closer than me and you, when you put a porch there. I would like the porch to be either limited to this side or non-existent here, and just have steps going up into the door. I mean, there is a patio that exists already that's ground level without a porch. Just standing here and sitting here, you can look directly in my bathroom, my bedroom, and my kitchen. Like, look right through my house.
Do you know how, is that fence yours or my client's? The wood fence?
Her fence, part between us is hers, mine is down further,
Okay, and that's, what height fence?
6 foot.
can't go any higher
But,
than that.
right, and I can't, and you're raising her up. How high is this porch going to be? Because I see several steps.
It's going up about 2 foot 10 inches to the deck itself from ground.
2 foot.
Yeah, 2 foot 10. And that's a function of the house, the first floor of the house, which is 3 foot 6 inches off the
Mhm.
ground. So if you look at the size of the porch and the configuration, you'd have a hard time putting additional steps on the porch. To lower the porch, how would you get into the house?
Through the deck over here, and just have it on the south side and not the north side. So let her entrance and everything be there with the garage, and the patio, and versus the full porch. She has a porch in the front, a full porch in the front of the house.
On the Wickapeckos?
On Wickapeckos side. That is her front, that is her porch. Almost the full size of the house.
Man, what if along her fence that's currently there where your bathroom and your bedroom windows are, she just installed some landscaping that would grow in excess of 6 feet eventually, and then it was fully blocked off? So it wouldn't break the fence law, and then
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a win-win.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yes.
A good choice is Hinoki cypress. They're nice, they're evergreen, they're really nice soft foliage. They grow about, at the most, really slowly, 12 feet. They don't get much bigger than 18 inches, 20 inches. They look really nice, easy to keep at a reasonable level so they don't blow you away and they won't get in between, so you can't walk between them.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we do that?
How many and
Okay,
how wide?
instead of
Clearly.
limiting access. Okay, so that we can everyone will be happier. You'll have privacy, and
So how many are we putting in where?
well, we're going to put those down the what's
The north side.
The north side of the property,
From where to where? From the
from the, I guess this,
northeast corner of Ms. Wiener's home for a distance of what? What scale is this thing? A dimension on it.
I don't know how much room there is, because that patio goes all the way over.
Oh, sorry. Right in there. Exactly. So what scale are you on?
This is 1 to 10.
Yeah, it looks like about 15 feet worth, right? 18 feet? So if it was one every 2.5 feet, if you did eight trees, eight trees.
Running how many feet?
Every 2.5 feet, 8 trees going at 4 feet.
Starting at that corner?
Yeah, starting at the,
Start that
yeah,
corner.
2.5 feet off the northeast corner of
There
that.
appears to be a concrete
Pad.
pad there, so. to
There's a
the
concrete
immediate west
patio.
of that concrete pad every 2.5 feet.
That's, but then you could still see my bedroom and my kitchen, because that's my patio, that's my deck there.
On her property? Your deck
So-
on our property?
So you
No.
want her to put a plant in the middle of the concrete pad?
It doesn't go all the way over. The concrete pad doesn't go over, there's
does.
gardening
It
there.
absolutely does.
It does.
Well,
Shown here on the survey. And anything behind that concrete pad is behind the deck. So they'd be looking west.
I mean, what we have in front of us shows the pad clearly going right over to that fence.
I've lived there for 36 years.
Well, I believe you, but we only have what we have to look at.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the fence, maybe you can't see
Ms.
it.
Wiener, is there room between that pad and the property line? Is that, you know where I'm talking about?
Yes, past that, there's plenty of room and there's currently shrubbery there.
No, I understand, but
You're talking about here.
Yeah. Does this thing really go all the way to there, or does it stop over here somewhere? Is this true, is this accurate?
It goes there, there's nothing there right now.
The
It
pad.
starts like right here and moves up.
Right, but this thing isn't here?
No, it is.
Okay, and it goes all the way to the property line?
Yeah, to the fence.
Okay. You're saying it doesn't? You know what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk to two people.
Oh, okay.
There's about this much.
well, this is
space.
what it's showing here. There's only 2.9 feet from the property line, which is your common line,
Mm-hmm.
to the corner of the house.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2.9, but this piece of concrete goes all the way over there. You can't get a tree in there. That's all, you see what, that's all, I'm just
So
wanting to see what we're
so,
looking at.
so the trees aren't gonna work.
Well, she can start the trees right here. They said they're gonna screen this for you or
She
something.
has neighbors on multiple sides there.
Right.
Between these streets.
So we start the trees here and go this way.
You know what though?
This is house.
This, and right, but my house is right here,
So,
and what,
go ahead. I thought it was the porch that was the problem.
right, the poor, well, no,
This is what, Becca,
right,
You know what?
Okay.
She's not gonna sit on the deck. It's still-
this is your side. This is what,
right, there's this, and right alongside over here would be my deck.
right.
Which
That's
is
the
why,
garage. That's what we-
And there's, you're saying that
We're gonna
there's
put
not
trees over
enough,
here.
right, but there's not enough room to put trees here, which is where my deck, my window for my bathroom, my bedroom, and my kitchen are right there. There's, on my deck,
that's why the
so,
lattice is being proposed on the side of the deck.
He's
That'll
gonna put a
screen the
lattice
view
here,
there.
all the way on the porch, and then start the trees here, so you, it's about 2
right,
feet.
but when you're standing here on the deck, and you're looking off our deck, my
The
house.
trees are gonna block that. When you're standing and looking towards the northeast, the trees are gonna be right along that line and they're gonna block it. It's, I don't
We're only
see
talking
where
about
that's a
2-foot
problem.
Thing here, which is what the lattice is gonna go. This is only 2 feet wide, 4 feet this way.
And this is a rear deck.
It's gonna have trees right up to it. With the lattice screen, that's what they're trying to do.
Can we reschedule this and someone look at it?
I think that's.
Does anybody feel necessary that we have to reschedule?
So you wanna keep the brick, is it brick or concrete?
That piece
It
can
looks
come
like
out.
brick. Yeah, it could come out.
yeah.
Let's just get rid of that, cause it's old anyway. So if you get rid of that, then there'll be more than enough room for the trees. And then
Right.
it
So
will
you
be
get rid of
better.
the small concrete slab and put a tree there, okay, so that.
Because
that's-
there'll be a deck over it, won't there?
Oh, the
be?
deck is.
No,
No,
deck-
it's-
no, it's fine, it'll work.
Back away from it.
So you're gonna get rid of the concrete piece. You're gonna put another tree. You're gonna put some lattice on the side. I think that's.
So
I think
now it's
it-
9 trees,
Yeah,
and we get rid of the
it's-
concrete.
it's more
look
than-
at
it-
Nine
I think
trees
it's-
running how long? 9, 18?
Well, every
Every 2.5 feet.
9 trees, starting at the north,
Sounds like
east
22 and a
corner
half.
of the house.
Yeah.
Starting at the back door,
Going which way?
Yep, going east.
Going east.
going east.
Okay, what height of planting?
Go in at 4, 2.5 feet on center.
4 feet to, on center, okay.
They grow to a height of like 12 feet, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you don't have to go.
All right.
Gonna remove the concrete, she's gonna put up a lattice on the
On the
north
side
side of the porch.
Yep.
And she's going to plant 9 Honeyki cypress,
Hinoki. H-I-N-O-K.
H what?
H-I-N-O-K-I.
Yeah, so ahead, Hinoki. I have to look at it.
Okay.
Your
Cypress.
Japanese isn't very good.
No, it's not about and,
They'll be nice.
she's gonna remove the concrete and then at the northeast corner of the house.
Yeah.
And then commence from the northeast corner every 2.5 feet
Correct.
for 9 trees
Yes.
Perfect.
along that eastern property line.
Yes. The northern property line.
That concrete that you're removing, there's
There's a
serves no purpose, correct?
slab.
Okay.
It's right near that old doorway, so it was just a little
Okay.
extra. Probably somebody put their garbage cans there or something. Who knows?
Okay.
That, if the board chooses to approve it, we can put that condition in.
Any other questions, ma'am?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Any questions from the board? Any other questions from the public?
Questions from the public?
Oh, God. What's that issue?
Everybody's gonna want something now.
Okay. Please, talk into the microphone. Please state your name and address.
My name is Diane Gerwer.
Yes.
I'm 1307 Wickopecker Drive.
Right.
I live south to the house.
Okay.
Okay. My concern is the so-called shower. I personally don't think there's that much room for it, and I would like some drainage. We already flood, and also we have shrubbery right along there. So then the water's going to keep draining all the way on the shrubbery, and it can, I mean, we have soap suds and everything else. It's going to be draining directly into our house. And again, we have flooding problems in our basement as it is now.
Well, they can't drain, they're not gonna drain water onto your property. Correct,
Well,
Mr. Passman?
each time that, in the summertime, it's probably gonna be used a lot. When the soap and everything else, and it's gonna be coming right into our property.
Why can't we have it have a drain?
Yeah,
What
why
is the
it-
draining
you're gonna have-
situation?
You're not gonna put you don't wanna put a plumbing drain into the shower. It's not gonna happen.
Well, where's the water gonna
Just
run?
for example, so where the water's gonna run off is, I don't know exactly the topo. I'm guessing it goes towards Wickapecco.
Oh, don't guess, cause it.
I don't know.
that's
No,
the
I'm
problem.
I
right,
don't know.
I mean.
We can get topo, we
I'm
can
here
figure it
and the
out.
shower's here,
Alright.
and I don't, and then we have hedges right here, so it's gonna run directly into our
Well,
basement.
Ma'am, with all due respect, you don't know if it's gonna run that way. Mr. Passman's gonna have to find out the way it runs.
Okay.
Because, you know,
Can't have that.
you can't have it run, it can't run on your property, okay? It can't run off that way.
So it's only gonna run
Can it?
down.
Well,
I don't know the topo, but
I don't know the topo.
my,
It
my
could.
client just said that her basement doesn't get wet. That doesn't mean much. That has nothing to do with necessarily rainwater. I'm not sure. It could be from your downspouts. It could be from groundwater coming up
But
if you have a
it's
very
really
deep
not a
basement.
good idea to have the water from a shower running right onto the neighbor's property. I mean, this
Correct.
is not like, so it's just gotta be,
Control.
well, addressed, yeah.
I mean, it could be moved to the garage.
Well, I mean, how much landscaping would it, I'm thinking we're talking about less than 2 feet, if it has to be changed at all to make it run towards Wickapec as
As long as
opposed-
it can, sure.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the
I mean-
point, yeah.
I'm not sure I think what we can do is we can get some topo of that area
Right,
and we can see which direction it runs.
right, it may not
Not
need
to the
anything.
south, if it runs east or west,
I agree.
it's acceptable, correct? All right, so we'll verify that drainage, and we'll put it on a bed of gravel anyway. You dig it out, you put a bed of gravel, you put some pavers on it, there's a shower coming from the house side.
It's not exactly gonna look so terrific when we look out our window
Well,
either.
it's a
I've got
6-foot
an
fence.
arbor going through, but
I mean, it's a 6-foot fence, that's all you're gonna see.
I'm not objecting to the house, level or anything else. I'm just
Okay.
objecting to the shower.
Okay. So, Mr. Passman, you have to make sure that the water,
We'll have to get some topo.
topo, okay? Any other questions, ma'am? Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Michelle Crosta, 1318 Vina Avenue. Over the summer, Rebecca has been Airbnb-ing her house, and my concern is the addition allowing for more people to take up the house for Airbnb. And I have the paperwork here if you'd like me to submit it.
But that's not our concern, unfortunately, okay? I assume that there are other ordinances in town that's not permitted because there's occupancy without a certificate of occupancy.
Absolutely.
So there are ordinances that do exist. So if you see this again, this is not the place to complain. The place to complain would be the construction department? Code enforcement. Code enforcement.
Code enforcement.
Well, it's more of a concern of, having a lot of strange people in the neighborhood
We understand
throughout.
the concern, it's not permitted, okay? We don't permit, I don't believe
We don't.
Airbnb under our ordinances. If it's.
It's not permitted under the ordinance?
I do not believe so. You need to, every time somebody else occupies your house, you have to get a certificate of
Correct.
occupancy.
So-
Each time.
So what happens?
You need to go to code enforcement and they'll have to fine her, or excuse me, issue a summons.
So
and then
how do
bring her to
we
municipal court.
get the how do we get that enforced? Because we've been trying all
We-
summer.
This is, I don't know, where have you gone?
We've called the police and we've reported it.
Police aren't the people to go
Yeah.
to.
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement, 531-5000. Ask for code enforcement, and they will tell you how to do that. It is absolutely, it's illegal. You have to have a CO every
Yeah, I
time.
believe you can rent your
Yes.
property, but
Excuse
you
me?
have to get a certificate of occupancy.
I just wanted to say that I did do that over the summer, and the intention with this plan is to live there and have that house be mine. That was just for the summer. And
But
as
it-
you can see, that has not happened anymore.
It's the winter, so of course it's not happening. I mean, we're a very seasonal area, but it's clear that if it's against ordinance, it shouldn't be happening at all.
Understood, and I knew that was being passed, and it stopped when it was, and it hasn't happened again, and it won't happen
So
the
it's
following
okay to
summer.
just break the law for the summer because it's convenient for you.
No, I didn't break the law for the summer.
Okay, that's, again, you'd have to call code enforcement. This is not the place to do, Any other questions from the public? Any other questions from the board? Motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Rachel, please read the,
Call the roll.
call the roll.
Yes.
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 Action.
I'll move for a positive resolution subject to the conditions of putting the lattice work that was discussed, the trees, and also to get a topo to ensure that so it's conditioned on the flow from the shower not running towards the adjacent property line. Does that cover that?
I'm not sure that you need a topo per se, but the shower has to be designed so that the water cannot run off onto the adjacent
And it's
property.
gonna be
Okay,
subject
so I'll
to
amend
Bill's
it that
approval.
way.
So we'll approve
I will
that.
make it subject to
Subject to
Yeah,
Bill's
that's
approval.
fine.
He's also gonna remove that little piece of concrete that's
Right.
on the end of the patio.
So that the trees can go
Well-
in as discussed.
Yeah, I don't know if the first tree goes where the cement is, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That was the
So
problem.
that's why so the first tree will go there, and the shower drainage is, they have to ensure that the flow will be not towards the adjacent property, and they're gonna have to provide appropriate proofs to Bill. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
Well, I don't either, but we'll figure it when
figure out
time
if they
comes.
need a whole topo for that.
And it would be subject to his approval.
Subject to
Right.
professional's approval. Okay.
I need a second.
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 By the time you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Please see Rachel.
And after you move in, have a block party.
Thank you all for tonight.
Yes.